Let's get into now the bulk of our show, and that is going to be my conversation with competition director Adrian Bozman. We were talking about this, earlier in the show, but I think that he and the people that have been helping him with this have done a very good job of providing so far. Now we have 7 workouts for individuals, 3 in the open, now 4 in quarterfinals, that are accessible to everybody, challenge people who are not the elite to sort of see what you're capable of, and also give the elite an opportunity to really distinguish themselves from the rest of the field. So I think that's so far a job well done. And we now really are really going to get to see what he's going to do as a programmer as we move to semifinals and then the games, where it's really carte blanche.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that some of the themes that we've seen through these two continue in terms of how some of these tests are oriented. I do think there's some little tidbits that I have enjoyed that have persisted, whether it's the wall-facing handstand push-ups and some things that have provided clear stopping points. And it used to be back in the day that the most important programming that came out, I would say, arguably, was regionals or semifinals, because that ultimately dictates who the athletes that are going to get to be on the biggest stage. But I think with these adjustments and how the season has altered over the years, I mean, I think quarterfinals starts to get lumped into that as a mixture with semifinals. So quarterfinals and semifinals become that major part because of the aggressive cut. So, man, I'm still just processing like how the heck I'm going to get all this done. Because I know Lauren's doing it out in the dirt of Central Texas, but
I have somebody who hasn't arrived yet, because with tactical games, they don't use all of the same equipment. Right. So they only have axle bars. And I was like, there is no way I'm doing these workouts with an axle bar. Can somebody please bring me a women's barbell? Yeah.
No chance.
So I will be doing them all outside in the dirt, looking left and right for scorpions, snakes, and wolf spiders.
Yeah, no, the wolf spider that'll end a quarterfinal workout really fast. We'll be like, all right, nope, 0. See you guys later.
Is it weird that like scorpions don't bother me? Spiders do, but
I mean, they
scorpions
won't
don't?
kill you. It just hurts unless you're allergic to it, I suppose.
I don't know why.
They're all evil.
I think New Mexico, we used to see them all the time. So I don't know.
I've never seen one.
Yeah, you're lucky. Count yourself lucky on that one. Okay, so without further ado, here's my conversation with competition director Adrian Bozman. Boz, thanks so much for doing this, man. How you doing right now?
Dude, I am good. I literally finished first quarterfinal workout about an hour ago.
Okay.
Had a friend of mine come over. It was pretty good. I honestly, I am weak and skinny right now, and so the barbell was freaking me out. But I did better on the snatch portion than I thought I would, and so that was a big win mentally. And I mean, it was hard. The hardest thing for me was the transition from the row to the box step up. Man, that was just like a rude transition. And I did it in my garage. And the way I set it up, because, you have to have the 5-foot separation for safety first. I had to put my rower basically out in the driveway, and then the box was like down on this end of the garage, which means I had a little, lengthier transition. But I did not mind that. I took that pity party every round, and it was just fine. So
we saw this with the teams, and also seeing it now repeated with the individuals. But why have more days to do the given workouts? You have 2 windows, I think, of 3 days each.
Yeah,
2 days each, and then you have fewer workouts. Why was that decision ultimately made?
Simplicity of execution, straight up. So with the decision to allow more people in comes the reality of, hey, there's more people with different schedules. There's more affiliates that are going to be burdened with, running this for more people. We want to make sure that, again, anybody who's qualified and wants to play the game can. And at the end of the day, the quarterfinal is kind of that in-betweener stage where it's not the open. You don't have like days to redo everything, but it's also not a semifinal where when your heat's running, you're there or you don't get another opportunity. It's somewhere in the middle. And, we asked ourselves, we're like, is that time pressure of the previous windows such a significant factor that it can't be altered? And the answer is no. It's like, what, in our opinion, it's going to filter basically the same way by giving people a little bit more leeway. And again, taking a little bit of stress off the affiliate owners that have to ultimately run it, and then allowing more people that want to do this, but may not have the time, may not have the flexibility of schedule. They're not full-time athletes. They're just regular people that want to compete, giving them an opportunity that's like, hey, looking at these workouts, looking at the windows, I can throw my hat in the ring.
Yeah. Well, let's, if you don't mind, just briefly kind of go through each one. And if you could, I would love to get your thoughts on what the inspiration was behind this one. Workout number one, a lot of people are saying, yeah, it's kind of like a fight gone bad. Workout. What was the idea behind this test?
Straight up, it was a fight gone bad inspired workout. I love the kind of choose your own adventure, lean into your strengths style of this. The mix of movements, we really tried to get it to a point where each one of these at like a high level is going to be pretty even. Meaning, if you're getting 20 reps on the snatches, you're probably going to get 20 something calories on the row and maybe 20 step ups. Might not play out that way exactly, but what we wanted to avoid, I guess said another way, is one movement that's like the clear, if you just sell out on that, you're going to get 75, and then you're only possible to get like 10 on the others. That wouldn't have worked. So something that's pretty even across the board was the goal with that fight gone bad format.
How many iterations did this thing go through?
There was about 3 on this one. And one of the first ones had like an obvious, like, okay, this movement is, you just kind of coast on the first few, and then you just sell out on this one and you win,
Okay. Can you tell us what that is, or are we keeping that secret in case?
I want to keep that one a little closer to the chest, but yeah.
All right.
But after we threw a few people at it, it was like, okay, this is obvious how this is going to go down.
Well, let's talk about the second one, because this to me is 24.1 with just like steroids and hair.
Correct. Yes, that's exactly it. And so again, it was like, all right, we look back at the open, and just like you said, what are some of the signposts of the open? Well, you need like a sprint or kind of like punchier effort, and that was 24.1. Okay, let's take that movement, the burpee, let's increase the challenge of it in a couple of different ways. The movement itself is more challenging, and then the rep scheme. It's one thing to be able to hold on to a set of 20, 21, I suppose, and then move to something else and kind of cycle back and forth. It's a different kind of stamina to have to take those big bites of 50 at a time. So this is going to be a very different feel, despite the fact that the movement is similar. This is horrible. I will say that this is one that many of our team did like around the beginning of the new year. We just kind of played around with this one. Again, because it's like, all right, we have some higher level athletes that test them, and they give us kind of more legit info as to what the top is possible. But this is one of those ones that we're like, well, anybody can like take a crack at this one. You might not want to do it, but you can. And this one hurt really badly. I did not make the time cap. I'm not too proud to admit that.
No, I don't. There would be no way on God's green earth I'd even get close to that. This to me is just by far the one that just looks the one that would hurt the most, because
it was bad news.
You can make a real conscious decision to suffer, and good luck with that. Workout 3, increase in skill. Talked a little bit about that with the open, but to me, this looks like what the overall theme is through the open and quarterfinals. Let's give everybody a chance to play, but let's give the elite a chance to separate.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, again, for most athletes, they'll be able to get some reps on the board here, slog their way through the earlier rounds. And then as they get to the end, it's like, all right, maybe I'm going to get stopped, but at least I had a chance to get some reps. And so in many cases, depending on where you are in your skill level and your leaderboard, you'll be racing others around you through certain segments of this, because there's tie breaks, at each kind of separator. So, if you and I know that it's unlikely we're going to get to the muscle ups, it's like, okay, we can race through the rope climbs and then, winner take all that way. So this and an earlier version of this one actually had the muscle ups in the 2-rounder. There's less reps, but you saw them twice. And we thought, okay, well, it was great. It was a great workout, but I think there'd be a lot more people that would be stopped earlier and wouldn't have as much opportunity to play. And then again, kind of taking that theme of like, at the top level, if you just have 20 muscle ups on paper for the elite athletes, they don't even bat an eye at that. But 20 muscle ups at the end of all of this pre-fatigue work, well, now you've got a different challenge. So kind of an interesting way to play with something that should be pretty routine for these athletes, but given the context at the high level, it's going to be a different animal.
I think I know the answer to this, but I want to ask it anyway. Why put the chest to wall handstand push-ups in the quarterfinals? This is the first time that that movement is filtered down from the games, correct?
Oh, I
I
think
think
we
we've
had
had
it
the
in
semifinals.
definitely semis. I thought we had it at a online stage in
We may have,
23.
because I don't, I never get past the
Yeah.
open, so I may have done it. So.
Yeah, but I mean, for exactly that reason, you have to start separating for skill, and especially with so few semifinal spots, you got to make sure that somebody who's skilled has an opportunity to shine and, make some ground on the leaderboard.
Yeah. And then finally, we have, I think, one that everybody loves. You're just going to roll a heavy barbell out there, and you're going to clean a jerk it for at least, well, not at least, but you're going to try to get 30 reps, and then you're going to go after the heavy one.
Yeah. In the words of your friend of mine, Pat Sherwood, what could be simpler?
It couldn't be simpler. You're a fan of fitness.
Here you go. Yeah.
What inspired this one?
We've used this format in the past with a snatch. I think it first reared its head when we were doing some of the semifinals got moved online in 2021. We were still coming out of the COVID era. We had some events that were set to go as in person, but then, due to complications around that, they couldn't run in person. So we had to pivot and run some of them online. And this was one of the workouts featuring a snatch that was there. And it was the same format. The weights were a little bit different, but similar scheme. And I thought that played out so well that I thought it'd be really cool to kind of revisit that and just come back. And, there's always I feel like there's a big debate when you put in a max lift. There's one contingent that's like, this is terrible because it skews so much to the person that's really strong. They get an artificially big bump. And then on the other hand, when you don't do that, people are like, well, where's the strength test? So I think that this kind of fits that middle ground where, hey, you can't tell me that somebody getting 20, 30 reps at that final barbell is not strong.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me that the guy that is stronger in the raw sense doesn't have an advantage when he gets to that bar. So I think it filters for that, even if it's not a specific, hey, Sean has, a 5 pound heavier clean and jerk than me. I think it's going to net out pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I think that I love them on paper. And like I said, I wish that well, maybe I'll give them a try anyway once I'm back to 100%. But I think
yeah, hey, why not?
Knocked them out of the park with these, and it really gives people a chance to really challenge themselves in a way that they know I think most people that got to this stage look at these workouts and say, I can get to a point, and then now I get to challenge myself, and I think that's an enticing proposition for people who are in the top 25%. So
yeah, for sure.
Not that I'm the arbiter of what's good or what's not, but I would be I'd be excited to do these if I were in quarterfinals.
Yeah, cool. Well, I appreciate that, and hats off to the team. Like we filtered them through some of those views pretty heavily, and there's a lot of healthy debate around like, okay, is this legit? Can affiliates actually pull it off with without too much hassle? Can the people that are qualifying in the bottom of that 25% like legitimately get up to step up to the plate and try to take a crack at it? And trying to balance all those things. So a lot of team discussion that went into that before we said go. And I'll also say, hey, little plug, the affiliate plans, cap plans that we have for these make it really possible for people to do them as part of their daily programming. It's kind of a fun little Easter egg. We demoed one of these in Texas for the health summit, and we didn't tell anybody. It was like totally under wraps. But we had a group of about 65 people that all went through the first workout, the Fight Gone Bad style one. And it was a mixed group of athletes. We had beginners all the way to like people that were just crushing it. And everybody got a taste of it. We were able to do it in a single session. And, affiliates are more than capable of doing that in their gym, should they choose to do so. And I just think that's so cool. And the ethos of what we're all about is like, all right, hey, you're going to have some fire breather, but there should also be, a 65-year-old, just every man next to that person, and they should both be getting after it. So hopefully the spirit of that is kind of carried in these.
I understand why you eliminated floor plans for the open, but why do it for the quarterfinals?
Same reason. Just again, we were having this conversation offline a little bit. It's like anytime you start to put rules and regulations in there, man, it just complicates things from both parties. It's more work to resolve. It's more work for the athletes. It's more work for the affiliates. And I think it's important to come back every once in a while and ask yourself, is this actually getting us the benefit that we thought it would at this stage? Is it worth the squeeze? Do we yield enough juice from it? I'll keep coming up with more metaphors. and when we looked at it, we thought, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, I don't think it's the differentiator at this point for these workouts in particular. I think maybe the argument for workout 3 is that some gyms will have a better setup than others, just due to the distance between their rope and their handstand setup. So that's fair enough. But for the others, I don't know that having a single barbell on the floor, there's no advantage to anybody on that one. You know what I mean? The second one, same deal. Your wall ball right next to your box or 5 feet away for safety. There's no real advantage to any other floor setup there. So it doesn't really need to be dictated. So that's what we're looking for more and more with these online comps is how can we reduce things and still not lose the impact and the quality.
Semifinals are coming up next. Where are you in putting the finishing touches on those workouts?
Oh, they've been done for a while. They're
okay.
I'm very excited. They're ready to rock. Semifinals is going to be a blast. And I said this the other day. I got to hang out with the champ, Rich Roning. Said this on his podcast. Mm-hmm. But hey, if you guys are anywhere close to the semis, go check them out. Buy tickets, show up. They are an absolute blast. And it is an awesome opportunity to see your favorite athletes up close and personal. In my opinion, you can get closer to the athletes and the action at semis than you can at the games. The games are so big. Sometimes you don't get right up on it. So go check those out and support those events because, man, they are a blast. It's always a good time.
What is the most challenging part about coming up with events for those competitions? Now knowing that, okay, this is not that the first 2 stages aren't important, but we're sending people to the games now. Yeah.
Well, it's just trying to do your homework and keep going through them over and over and over again and asking yourself, like, is it broad enough? Is it enough that we can say yes with confidence that the winners really deserve to make it to the big show?
Yeah. And I know you're already looking ahead to the games in Fort Worth if stuff's already done in the semifinals. I know you're not going to reveal anything here, but what are you most excited about when it comes to breaking in a brand new venue?
Oh, just that it gets you in a different headspace. When you change venues, you kind of take some of the assumptions that you've had in the past, and it gives you an opportunity to really look at them and say, hey, is this the right approach? Can we do something differently? Can we get rid of some things that maybe we've done in the past that people have come to expect? And, take that opportunity to kind of take a bit of a turn. So I don't know. It's just kind of a new canvas, which is really exciting.
Yeah. Always love spending time with Adrian Bozman. Just a genuinely good human being. Always enjoy our conversations, and thanks to him for stopping by and doing that. If you are one of our patrons, that entire interview will be available to you soon to listen to. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/talkingelitefitness, become a friend of the show. You'll get access to exclusive content and our very fun Friday Q&As that we do each week with our patrons. That they go all kinds of directions.
They do.
Cooking with Tommy, fitness with Tommy.
We've had cooking with Tommy. We've had fitness with Tommy. We've had all kinds of fun.
Tommy loses his fingerprints.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, great to hear from Adrian Bozman, and certainly we'll be checking in with him as we get closer to semifinals and then the games, because it's going to be really fun to see with this new venue in Fort Worth what he's cooking up.
Mm-hmm.